So this is a tag created by an Ariel that I was tagged to do by a different Ariel. So there's just like a chain of Ariels here, and I feel like I really wish I knew another Ariel so that I could like tag them to do this tag, because that would just be amazing. Hi, I'm Ariel. You're watching She Wants the Diction, and this is going to be the end of the year book tag. Although to my perception, it doesn't feel like the end of the year because we still have like 3 months, if you count October, in which to read, but I will indulge this anyway since I ended up doing the mid-year book freakout tag and I didn't think I would do that tag. Shout out to Ariel for tagging me. Let's do this. First question. Are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? Actually, I've been pretty good about finishing my books this year. I just went through my bookshelf trying to find any unreads, and what I came up with was In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. I started this book after finishing the new season of Mindhunter, which, if you don't know, is a Netflix show about essentially the FBI and trying to track down serial killers before serial killers were really something that was studied and classified. So like they're kind of inventing the science of serial killers as they go along, like figuring out their psychology and interviewing them and stuff. Like, it's really interesting, but I feel like it's also very slow paced and you have to be like really interested in it, I think, for you to enjoy it. So anyways, this is like a true crime story about a family that was murdered in Kansas. So I started it in like a fit of passion, and I think some other things came in from the library, and then I just kind of put it to the wayside. So yeah, this will get finished at some point. I have an idea to read, like, I have a couple books about serial killers on my shelf, and I really want to pull them out for the right occasion and just read everything all at once. For some reason, I don't know why, serial killers like really fascinate me, something I'm interested in. Just true crime in general, I feel like has always been a thing for me. Like, I'm not obsessed with it, but anytime like I do see or hear or read or listen to something about it, like I get really into it. Okay, second question. Do you have an autumnal book to transition into the rest of the year? The answer to this, I feel like, is no. I'm currently kind of sick and currently reading The Plague by Albert Camus. Kind of like a freaky coincidence because I also have like some kind of mild bug that I've picked up where I have like a sore throat. So reading about sickness while also being sick, awesome. This is just like a novel by a French guy about the bubonic plague hitting this town, and then they have to be basically cordoned off from the rest of the world. And to be honest, so far it's kind of like a snooze fest and a sausage fest, but yeah, I don't have too much to say about it. Is this considered autumnal? Like, people dying, serial killers, like, is that autumnal? Like, because it's like scary? I don't know. Maybe. Moving on. Is there a new release you're still waiting for? Not really. I've said this before that I don't really keep up with new releases. I tend to hear about them after they're already out. I did recently put on hold Dead Astronauts by Jeff Vandermeer. I didn't know he was coming out with another book, but a friend of mine is reading Annihilation, or just read Annihilation, and we were kind of talking about it. So I googled Vandermeer and saw that Dead Astronauts was coming out December, I believe. And the cover, I am absolutely in love with this cover. Like, it is gorgeous, just like everything that I love. Like, space, astronauts, rainbows, distortion, patterns, like, it is perfect. Like, I honestly just want the art. Like, fuck the cover. I'm a little concerned that I'm not actually gonna like the book though, because after I finished the Southern Reach trilogy, I went and looked at his other work, and the summary for Bourne sounded really whack. I was disappointed when I found out that Dead Astronauts is set within the Bourne universe, so I'm not sure if it's a standalone or a sequel or what's going on, but I don't know, the description sounded whack. Maybe the actual book is better. I don't know. I have yet to find out, but I did put it on hold, so at least if it does turn out to be good, like, I'm like first in line. I'm like second in line, actually. What are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? And I'm gonna kind of cheat with this one and just pull up everything that I put on hold, because literally the other day I sat down, like, I got on the computer, which I don't usually do, and sat down and specifically looked for things to put on hold, or tried to think of things that, like, I've been seeing around that I want to read that I haven't gotten to, and I just kind of went crazy. It doesn't help that we're also going on a trip next month, like for Thanksgiving or whatever. My boyfriend's family, basically, we're gonna have this like Airbnb in Colorado and be hiking and doing stuff or something like that. And I'm thinking either I'm gonna get a lot of reading done because of like the travel time, or I'm gonna get no reading done because like it's kind of an event where I'm gonna be hanging out with people and be kind of rude to be reading a book always. But you never know. So I don't know. It could go either way. So I'll just kind of read you guys everything I have on hold right now. Taproot, a story about a gardener and a ghost by Keezy Young. I found this on a list of queer comics, and that's why it's on there. Ghost Wall by Sarah Moss. I heard a couple people on BookTube talking about it. It sounds really interesting to me. We Cast a Shadow by Maurice Carlos Ruffin, which is like this dystopia where this man basically makes the choice to turn his son white or something like that, like a black man. I'm not sure, but like the premise sounded interesting and I don't know, controversial. I haven't really seen anyone talking about this one either, so I really wanted to read it. Wilder Girls by Rory Power, which is supposed to be like kind of a Lord of the Flies retelling, but like female version. I've got two Akwaeke Emezi books, Freshwater and Pet, which just came out. Pet was the one that I really wanted to get to first, but it looks like Freshwater is going to come in first, which whatever. I've been needing to read this. Then we have Slay by Brittney Morris, which I was kind of on the fence about reading. I didn't know what it was. I just saw the cover and I thought it looked good. But then Bowties and Books basically gave a glowing recommendation, and I was like, okay, that seals the deal. It's a YA book anyways. I'll breeze through it. I'm just going to get that real quick. And then I got Who Put the Song On by Morgan Parker. I have read her poetry, but was not the biggest fan, but just for the simple fact of the cover is why I picked this one up. Like, anytime I see a black girl on the cover, like, I'm there. So maybe I'll like her fiction writing a little better. And I got Cheshire Crossing by Andy Weir. This was just kind of a random find. I think it's Wendy Darling from Peter Pan, Mary Poppins, and then Alice from Alice in Wonderland are all at this like boarding school as like teenagers or something, or like after their adventures. So I'm getting kind of like Every Heart a Doorway vibes from that, honestly, and I enjoyed that book, so we'll see. And then I've got Saga on hold. This is another comic. Heard nothing but great things about it, and I am trying to find a comic that really sticks. I mean, the only one I've had success with so far was the first volume of Motor Crush, so hopefully this one will go a bit better. Then I have They Called Us Enemy, and this was just a graphic novel that I happened to see that is apparently written by George Takei, who is obviously like of Star Trek fame. So I was super interested by the fact that he wrote a book that's supposed to recount like his family's experience being in prison camps because he is Chinese. So yeah, that was definitely like a must read for me. And then because I just finished the TV series Gentleman Jack not too long ago, I got the biography that came out of her, like the companion book. It's called The Real Gentleman Jack, The Real Ann Lister. Yeah, that show is great. If you don't know, it's on HBO, which is pricey, but I feel like sometimes it's worth it for like the series that they have on there. And it is basically about a lesbian in the 19th century, like trying to build the dream life that she wants and like marry this girl. I don't know, I just absolutely loved it. Like, it's definitely worth your time. The last thing I have, and this is just kind of just a random thing, was For the Love of Books, Designing and Curating a Home Library. I feel like this is gonna be one of those like picture books that I'd like flip through and like it doesn't really do much for me. Like, these type of books don't really seem to do much, but I am interested in like hearing the other side, like just because I tend to be so minimal. Like, what is the purpose of like curating a bookshelf? Like, what are practices for that? Like, I don't know much about it. And plus just like pretty pictures. Plus a children's book, because I'm planning on rereading one of my book that gave me nightmares as a child. So you guys will just have to wait and see what book that is. But if you have any guesses, leave them in the comments. On my Kindle, I have Beauty King by SAVY. And then I also have R.K. Gold's novel, Beds Are for Flowers. So those are both two indie authors that I really need to get to their work, but yeah, I just have so many other things that I'm like wanting to read, like, you know, the struggle. Next question. Is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? I really don't know if anything's gonna top Annihilation for me at this point. Like, I will be very pleasantly surprised if that happens. And then finally, have you already started making reading plans for 2019? And that is a no from me. I really don't think that far ahead, in case you guys can't tell from my videos. I pretty much come up with my video ideas like the week of, to be honest. So yeah, I don't do that much planning ahead. I do know that probably the only readathon I'll be participating in from here till the end of the year is the next round of the Queer Lit Readathon, which I kind of read a lot of queer books anyways, so it's easy to like fit those in. But yeah, next year, I don't know, it's wide open, so we shall see. That is the end of the year book tag. I guess I should probably tag some people, which I will do in the description because I don't feel like picking through everyone right now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week with another video. Peace.